G'day and welcome to Cities Skylines. We're back in Amity Bay, a modded Let's Play series on my channel. So in this video, I want to finish off our small island of Bridgewater here. We have the northern side of the island built out with mid-rise from the Heart of Korea Content Creator Pack or CCP. We also put in a few Green Cities DLC assets as well. So I think on the southern side of the island, we should go in with Green Cities DLC low density houses, as I think not only do they look really nice, it'll transition really well from the north to the south. Cohesive, I guess you could say. We also had a bunch of new CCPs released recently, so I think we can squeeze something new in the middle here with this second beach. I quite fancy a little nightlife area, but I'm sure we can mix in some new stuff too. We've also created this bottleneck with only one way onto and off the island, so let's also put a second bridge across as well and relieve some of that congestion. So just checking in with our population info here, last time we had nearly 45% seniors, which was causing widespread not enough worker warnings, so the residential expansion is definitely working, so let's finish this off. While I do that and get everything built out, let's fast forward. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Starting down this end, I put a couple more hotels in. I don't want this to be too much of a tourism or leisure area, but I do like the idea of a couple of them, just in certain spots, so these fit the bill. I'm actually loving how run down they look. That's awful, I know, but maybe these were on the island early on and then the council or government have decided that this is more geared to residential, but nobody demolished them. Then further on, a little more mid-rise residential, just to give us a step down in height. Then in with a couple of nightclubs. How gaudy do these look? Loving it. I really would not want to live near these, I can tell you. Some souvenirs and the little donut squirrel here. I know we could bob him off, but I kind of like it. It's super kitsch. Then these fabulous assets by none other than Larry Skylines himself. He has a whole bunch of these Frank's Fish Sticks assets on the workshop. You might have seen the vans driving around the city, they're so good. They're in my asset list on the Steam Workshop, but I'll put a link below as well. I've put a few props here as well, just to remind myself what I want to do with the detailing when we get to it. Then I really like these two. They're like a little bar or something made from shipping containers. Pretty neat little things and perfectly suited to our beach vibe here. I then wanted to use some of the new Shopping Mall CCP assets, but needed something to bridge the gap in between, so repeated these mid-rises again we used over the other side of the island just to break it up. Then in with these gorgeous new assets, they're just so nice, loving the little restaurants and cafes. And then just some of the shop assets as well, just behind. I've got the Green Cities DLC low density housing in here behind, and just to break up this part I put a couple of little commercial assets in too. A little public market, the Burn Bean coffee shop. Every time I see that logo on there it reminds me of the radio ad. They crack me up so much. Then over behind we're using the new quay wall as well. It's a new walkable quay and I've just upgraded the trees on it and gone with a palm as we're using that style of tree elsewhere on the island. Now I haven't put a marina or anything in this part because the two bridges that sandwich this part of the island in are way too low to get a boat underneath, so just some fishing jetties for some interest. And I don't really like how the new quay stops and the older quay style starts. The little wall just stops there, so I wanted to put something on there just to soften that edge. Then here I've gone in with a lot more low residential, popped in some elementary and high school coverage, using the same ones we used over the other side of the island as well, just for consistency. And because these quays are walkable, I've sandwiched the houses right up to them in a lot of places. I know I'd love to own a house that backed onto water like that, and I've just pulled them back far enough so the terrain on the other side doesn't go all weird. Nice clean lines and our quay wall there. And that's it. I've got buses running up this end as well and have been letting the simulation run in the background, but now it's time to detail it up. take a look at how this all turned out. Starting over this side, a little bit of palm tree decoration here, extended the walking paths along the beach, then used the surface painter this time to remove the path. You can use that or the invisible path mod. Lots of beach themed props again like we did over the other side of the island, sun lounges, parasols, then just picking up props from assets and extending them to make it look more cohesive. All of this side is quite informal, so just seats and chairs on the sand here. Then further down I picked two assets and extended their seating areas across the road, one quite formal with concrete and fencing, the other a little bit more informal, just on the beach there. And then a couple of park piers just to finish things off. Then in with the greenery in between, little seating areas outside of the coffee shop and the little shops here. Then around to this side of the bridge, I added some marina assets again, and this time I created this cool little jetty, just using normal pavement path. I'd seen Imperator do this in one of his videos, and I really liked how it looked, so I wanted to try it out here. So you just build your path out, then see how I've lowered it down to the water like that, then just go on in with some boat props that float on the water, and there we have a little custom jetty. How cool does that look? And the neat thing is you can just make any design you want. Here are some other shapes I made further down. And then with these new walkable quays, I've sunken the assets down so they really become part of the quay here, and I put them in the gaps so they look like they're just part of it. With the marinas, they're a bit wider, so I create a couple of extra nodes, turn the quay back to the normal one, and then just put the marina onto those like that. That way we don't have trees sticking out or anything. Then right around to the end is just a bit of a park area. Because the Green Cities DLC Low Residential have dirt as part of the asset, I used dirt paths in between them and repeated that into this park, just giving it a bit of a repeated pattern. Kind of like it's got a formal part in the centre, then very informal on the edges like that. I quite like the mix. We have parks like that in Australia, so it's not uncommon. Then this cool little nod to Cities Skylines 2, with this superb little monument asset from the workshop by Checo MX. I've added it to my asset list, so if you want to grab it for your city, go ahead. I really like it. It's our little CS2 Easter egg. It's not as wide as this, it's just the centre part, and then you know what I'm like. Can't help myself, so I extended it out either side as I wanted it to be a bigger area in the centre here. Avanya has a bunch of CS2 planters as well, which I'm going to use at some point, so I've added those to my asset list too. They're pretty cool. I did have fountain plazas on either side, but I took them out, I didn't like them. And I've used more tropical grasses and lantana in here, and tried to dial back the palms, so it gives a more open air kind of feel, but still feels nice and lush, and like it's away from the hustle and bustle. Then this side of the island I left absolutely empty with our walkable quay. I just wanted unimpeded views for our Sims who have houses on this side. A few dotted pockets of palms, but that's it really, and gates and paths that hook up the quay for walkability access along there. Then right down the end here, I've left this connection here so you can see again. I really don't like this join here, so I'll pop a pier on that and sort it out later. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Then really just dirt paths in the middle, a few palms, nothing too much for this little suburbia feel here. And then I made this little sailing boat monument in the middle of this roundabout. A very sort of informal flower bed with pink and white flowers and then bushes as well. Then a more formal surround on the outside. And two sailing boat props in the middle. I think it's a really nice nod to Bridgewater's boating heritage. And then finally, just checking back on the traffic here, we're all good. 2 points of entry to the island have sorted those tailbacks. And that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, so we had 2 comments with the same suggestion on a previous video. One from Biffa suggesting to use Traffic Manager President Edition, then one from Sleepy2488 who suggested setting the cargo capacity. And I hadn't realized this was possible, so let's go and sort that out right now. So I'm going to try TMPE. If we click on the vehicle restrictions option here, then we get these 2 options, one for passengers and one for cargo. So let's go ahead and set that up. Then do that for the other end as well. And now we're good. We have our dedicated cargo line and our dedicated passenger line. So thanks for both of those suggestions, I really appreciate it. You learn something new every day. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. If you're on Discord, jump over to my Discord community and say hello. And until next time, take care, have a great day, and thanks again for watching.